sunshine, rocking the good time with all our friends. Easy and carefree, out in the summer breeze, loving a simple thanks for hours on end. Right about sundown, we lay on the ground, count on the stars as they come out one at a time. Ain't this a sweet life?
Hey everybody, I'm X Factor winner Tate Stevens, and welcome to the Sweet Life Podcast, where we talk about everything from music, sports, food, entertainment, and, well, just living the sweet life. Hey everybody, Tate Stevens, and as always, AJ Kronk.
Yeah, man.
Today we got a good show for you. Got a buddy of mine, met through another good buddy, and just a good dude. We're gonna talk some baseball. We're gonna talk some college athletics with him. We got Shawn Summe from the Avila Eagles, the Fighting Eagles of Avila. But he's on with us today, so stick around. It's gonna be awesome. And AJ's over here breaking stuff.
This thing keeps falling.
All right, so Shawn, thanks for coming on, taking your time. You guys had a ball game today, which is awesome. Thanks. Like I said, this time you could be home with the family, and you've agreed to let us take some of your time today. So we appreciate that a lot. And so let's talk about Shawn Summe, your journey. Now, I did a little research on you. Just so people, I could kind of, let people know some of the things that maybe you didn't talk about or something like that. But let's start. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? Where are you from originally?
South Bend, Indiana. So grew up in South Bend, Indiana. Tate and AJ, thanks for having me too. It's an honor to be here today. So, but grew up in South Bend, Indiana, under the shadow of the Golden Dome.
Nice.
Yeah, we call it God's country over that way. So
yeah.
Grew up there and always wanted to go to Notre Dame, but did not focus enough on the grades, I guess. Cool. So did not get into Notre Dame.
Yeah. I would have that problem too myself. So where did you end up going to college? Where'd you go to college after high school?
So I was a mama's boy, and I went to college 1.5 miles from my home at Bethel College in Mishawaka, Indiana.
I've heard of Bethel. I know exactly.
Was kind of had a chance to go to a couple different places, but the closest one was about 3 hours away, and decided I was going to stay there, go to Bethel, graduate with a education degree, and go coach and teach at the high school I went to.
Nice.
School in Mishawaka, Indiana. Thought I'd go there, do that, and so I stayed close to home, and I have not lived at home since I graduated college in 1998.
So you were there for a while. Maybe you said, I'm done. Done with this place.
Yes, 4 years. I'm out of there.
Now, growing up playing baseball, obviously, right? You went to. Did you play baseball at Bethel also?
I did. Yep.
Okay. Now, and for the college, the people who don't know about college athletics, and I didn't play college. I didn't go to college. But like just watching my son go through his journey at college, and it is, you have to love that game, whether it's golf, baseball, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. You have to love what you're doing when you get to that college level, because it is a job, and it consumes all of your time.
Yep. It's a grind.
It's
the best way to describe that, and baseball wise, baseball is a little different, and you're right. Your son played at a high level of Division II football, right? I mean, and that's kind of the thing that people don't understand either. Like, Bethel was an NAIA school, but we had a chance to play. I had a chance to play in 3 regional tournaments. The level of competition that we played was really good. We played Division I schools in Indiana and had those opportunities to do that. So, when you do it, especially at a smaller school that's successful, that grind is really there, because it's the expectations are there, right?
Yeah, right. Well, it doesn't matter if you go to LSU or Bethel.
Yep.
The expectation is to win. The expectation is to be a student athlete, and to you got to put the best 9 on the field all the time. So if you're not winning, they got to find somebody else to put in there. But yeah, it is a grind, and especially for the student athletes. I mean, it's hard to get a job, to have extra money. It's hard to, just kind of live that college life.
Yeah.
The other kids, the kids that just come watch the games or just party, they get to do that, have jobs, have a little extra cash here and there. And where the athletes, they're kind of limited on all that. And it is, like I said, you have to love it. I watched Hayden do it for 5 years. And, man, the dedication it takes to become just to become a college athlete, you know what I mean? Just to have that skill set, just to even go play college baseball, basketball, or whatever. That's so much work. And when I was growing up, like summer ball and stuff like that, it was, you played your little league baseball teams and you played your little tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of travel ball back then,
Yep.
Then as Hayden, Hayden played baseball also, up until his sophomore year of high school. Then he realized, hey, Dad, I think football is gonna do a little better for me than baseball. But all the weekends on the summer and we'd take family vacations to baseball tournaments. I mean, just how it was. And so the kids today put in so much time even before they get to the college level, but they have to, because if you don't, you are so far behind.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's, with baseball especially, right? Like what you had talked about, you talk about every weekend. I was fortunate enough last summer to, coach for the Prospects, Daryl's summer team. And it was every weekend, right? And we traveled a little bit to St. Louis, to Pittsburgh, Kansas. And, but those families sacrifice a lot, those kids sacrifice a lot to do it. You have to love it. And you want to make sure that, that if you're doing it, that you're having fun with it as well and learning. I think that was the big thing, right? Is to make sure that, we burn kids out because we demand so much and expect so much, but they don't have fun doing it.
Yeah. I wrestled from the time I was like 8 years old all the way up through high school and stuff. And I remember, wrestling tournaments, and it's just like every weekend there's a tournament, and then it is a grind, and you practice through the week. And then once you get to high school, then you have the AAU stuff in the summertime. If you want to wrestle AAU, then you go do that. And that's, a couple months of basically you get like a week and a half off for summer.
Yeah.
To do nothing.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're wrestling. So,
the best part about wrestling is my brother was a wrestler and he went to college to wrestle originally.
Mm-hmm.
Worst part was Thanksgiving. I felt guilty eating. A plate of food in front of him because he's got to cut weight because he has a big tournament on Friday, Saturday.
That's funny. Fortunately for me, I never had to cut weight. I wrestled. I was able to wrestle in a weight class that I didn't have to cut weight, and I would kind of use it to my advantage a lot of times, because I would step on the scale eating food, and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, come on, man, you can't do that." All these guys are buck naked, standing there on the scale, exhaling. You know what I mean? Watching the mob, like, "Oh no, I made it." I'm standing there with a sandwich and all fully dressed with a sandwich, and I don't know. But no, it is such a grind for the high school kids getting to that college level. And once you get there, it is a job. And that's the one thing that, like I said, watching Hayden go through it, and some of my friends' kids that are going through it now, they call home and they're like, "Hey, whoa. It almost takes the fun out of it, for them, because when you're in high school, you play for your high school. Yeah. You are playing for those however many fans sit there on Friday nights or at the ball games. You know what I mean? That's who you're playing for. And you're playing for your friend who's right next to you. you know, and you don't want to let him down. He doesn't want to let you down. You can't let your school down. You know what I mean? It's that thing. And it's such a special time in kids' lives. Then when they get to college, it's like, I don't know any of these dudes.
Yep.
You got to become a team. You know, I got to learn to trust you. You got to learn to trust me. And then we got to put it together because we're going to be here a lot together, you know, and this sacrifice, we're doing this together. And I think that builds a lot of great friendships for life. And especially with the freshman kids coming in together, if they can stay together, like Hayden had 35 kids come in his graduating class with him. They graduated, I think, 7 out of the 35 that came in with them, you know, because everybody left. Some kids quit. Some kids graduated early, you know, some kids, whatever. But I think they had 7 left of the original 35 that came in his group. And, you know, like he said to me, he's like, we'll be friends till we die. Because
that's the cool thing, right? Like you look back at my wedding party and stuff, and it was college teammates, guys I had played against or coached against. And that's the thing, right? You develop those lifelong relationships and friendships that become who you share good news, bad news with, everything. And they become closest friends because you've been through those times, right? You were homesick in college. You fought through that together. You went through breakups. You went through all these things that happened to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's you know, I have a soft spot in my heart for the college kids, the college athletes who are out there grinding it out, doing it. Now, I will say the NIL deals are on the football side of things right now are getting crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's okay. I think not that they should make, you know, $1 million a year playing college football, but they need to make some money. You know, think about Tim Tebow, and still to this day, no one has sold more jerseys than Tim Tebow ever in any sport. Football, baseball, basketball, no one. He holds that record of selling number 15 Florida Gator jerseys. How much, if they had NIL back then, how much money do you think he'd be worth right now? Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Because he was a freak, and, you know, anyway, so, but I'm glad to see that they're able to get some money now for what they do, because they can't work. A lot of those kids can't work, you know, and they don't have money. Their folks can't afford to send them money.
Right.
You know, so what was your first, coming out of college, what was your first college gig? Well, you're coaching, because I think it was if I remember right,
Manchester University in Indiana.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is what I love. I think you and I talked about this briefly a little bit, but you know, Hayden's into the coaching and doing that stuff now and stuff. And it's funny. My first coaching job, I got paid $2,500 for the year, like 10-month contract, $250 a month. That was it, right? I got to live in a campus house that was over 100 years old, that there was no air conditioning. And in the winter, the windows barely even closed. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
In the cafeteria, but I did that for 2 years and again, it was kind of like, but that's what you were used to. You grinded it out as an athlete at a small college.
Yep.
And then you got your start there, and it was fun. I mean, I talked to my first boss, Rick Esposette. He's still the baseball coach at Manchester, and he's now the athletic director there. We talked today. He developed so many relationships there, and it helped prepare me for a career in coaching and athletics beyond that.
Right.
It's just funny. You know, you get kids that graduate and they're like, well, I want to coach. I'm like, great. What do you want? And he's like, well, you know, kids are like, well, I need $35,000 to start. I'm just like, wow. You're until like my fourth stop. Are you kidding me? So,
you're like, good luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah, great. Good. Yeah. I mean, my first head coaching job at Judson in Elgin, Illinois, 2 years after Manchester, is making $24,000 as a head baseball coach and an admissions counselor at an NAI school. And I thought I was the richest guy in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost 10 times my salary. I'm feeling good. So I live in the suburbs of Chicago.
Right. Right.
But but we don't, you don't get into coaching for the pure money and stuff. And it's all about the relationships you build and the young men or women that, that you get to come in contact with and be a part of their lives. And, when you get that wedding invite or, you get the text that, hey, we're going to have our first child and things like that, like that's what makes it worth it. And it's those relationships from 24 years ago, 25 years ago now that like still keeping in touch with those guys. And like, they're at their different stages in life now than what they were then. It makes you realize like, man, it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience I've got to experience in my life.
Yeah. And, like I said, Hayden's going through that right now. And it isn't about the money because you can't chase it's like you can't chase the dollar in coaching. Right. Because there isn't one. You know what I mean? You're running behind. You're always running behind if you're chasing the dollar as a coach. But it is about those you're building young men, women. You're building them not only in their sport, but you could be the voice of reason for somebody who's going through something that they can't talk to anybody else about.
Yeah.
But you see them every day in practice or whatever. And you're like, hey, are you all right? And then, they might talk to the coach because you are a party of, you're a you're not biased in any way. You know what I mean? So you're that neutral party that could be a voice of reason for them to do something different than they're doing or whatever, make a better choice in what they're doing. Or just say, hey man, it's okay. You're going to be fine. And that's all they needed. But I told him, I said, man, that your position, you have so much to offer some kid in college. And we've talked about him doing the high school thing and he loves coaching. He absolutely loves. He's like, I'm not real sure about the teaching part, but the coaching is because it's rewarding to him. It's fulfilling to him to teach another person a game that he loves and that he was really good at and help them get better and to love that game as he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and no, that's like, it's such a huge part of it, right? You see a kid come in as a 18-year-old freshman, they're like a little doe, right? They just barely can stand on their own and they don't know what they're doing. And 2-3 years later, you're like, wow, like 2 years ago, you didn't even know that you could hit a ball to right field. Now you're driving balls out of the yard to right field. Like those are the things that, like when it's like the aha moment, right? It just clicks for a kid. Yep. When you get to see that, like that is one of the best feelings in the world. And that's like on the field, but it's also off the field, right? So when they figure out how to be successful in college or that they can do it, and then they graduate 4 years later after the first year they're on academic probation. Yeah. Like those are the things, like you walk across that stage, you're a college graduate, no one can ever take that away from you. Like you earned that. And that's so cool and so enriching that's the best part of this job.
Yeah, I would imagine. I could definitely. I mean, it's kind of like playing music for me anyway. When we're performing and I'm singing and stuff, to me it's like if I can touch that one person with a song, whether I wrote the song or not, and they're like, man, I loved it, great show, that song, I love that song, whatever reminds me of this or did whatever, then I've done my job, and that's why I do it. That's why I do it. It's not to be cool because I'm very not cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I do it because I love music. I want to share it. And just to be that medium, just to be that person to relay that message to that person that day that's why I do it. You get to bring joy. You get to bring joy to people. Right? Absolutely.
Like when I throw on Spotify and I hear El Camino, I am like in the right then. Like see, that's the best part, AJ. You're laughing, but I am telling you, I see tape play next time. If I don't hear El Camino, I will keep going.
Crap, we better learn
I
that.
know. Yeah, put it back in the set list. Yeah. So, okay, with coaching, and you have to move. You're always on the. It seems like that has to be tough, not only on you but your family. Now you have a family. So let's fast forward. Let's fast forward a few years.
Yeah.
Did you meet your wife in college or out of college?
No. So I was coaching in Savannah, Georgia, and one of the most beautiful, our favorite city to this day, right? Lived there for 8 years. We were part of a young adults group in a Catholic church there, and that's how we met. And, wind up getting married at the church we met at, and just,
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of, then we went from there down to Naples, Florida. So
Not bad either.
no, moved from one island town to another, right? Another coastal.
So she's like, hey, this job ain't gonna be too bad. And then you go Olathe. That's good.
Well, yeah. Well, Olathe
like,
was
what
a couple stops later. Yeah.
What's going on?
Where's the palm trees? Where's the heat? Bring the heat, please.
It says that every year from about the end of November to about April. Like we used to live in Florida and Georgia. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was really cool. That was good times.
Yeah.
Hey guys, remember kids? Remember when everything was awesome?
Both my kids were born in Florida, right? So they're born in Florida.
Yeah.
But they were 4 and 2 at the time, right? And I was head baseball coach and athletic director at Avila University. Mm-hmm. And great Naples, great town. It was really cool.
Yeah.
4-year-old comes home one day, she was starting to get involved in sports, the youth sports and all that. And she's like, Dad, why do you go to college kids games, but you don't come to my games? And that was kind of like a, wow.
Thanks for that, honey.
Life moments, right? That's an aha moment. Like, okay.
Absolutely.
And, kind of realized couldn't do both at that time. Couldn't really be an administrator and coach. It was, just not good for the family life. So we moved to St. Louis at that point to focus on athletic administration. And,
now with that, did you have a master's and you went back to school, got your when you're GAing
So when I was at SCAD, my boss there, a great guy, Judd Damon, who's now the athletic director at Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. And he said to me, he's like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, eventually I want to get into administration. And he said, well, you need to get your master's degree. And I said, okay. So I started work on my master's degree I have it from the University of Arizona, got it all online and could still coach and do what I wanted to do while getting that. Got that done in a year and a half. And it was just 2 classes every 6 weeks, just boom, 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 just knock it out while still working. And we were, my daughter was, actually, when I finished it, I finished it right when she was born. So kind of set myself up to go into that administration field at that point.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you, when you made that switch to administration, obviously there's a ton of other things that come with that job too, because you're not only a baseball guy, right. You're basketball, football, golf, table tennis, whatever they have, probably some intramural stuff too, just, because you have to coordinate gym time and that whole thing, I'm sure. So there's a lot more. Is it more time consuming than coaching?
It can be. Yeah. Right. So it is, it's year round, it's weekends. If you want to do it the right way, which I've always felt like if I'm going to do something, I want to do it the right way. I want to be at every home event because I think that's how the student athletes get to know you and they trust you that way. They know that you care and you support them. So if you want to do it the right way, yes. But the one side of that people really don't understand too is you're on different cabinets throughout the campus, right? So this whole COVID thing, I've been on a COVID task force that meets weekly and had to make decisions of what we were doing on campus during COVID. And Are we going to mask? Can we take the masks off? Are we going to be in person? Are we going to be virtual? How are we going to do that? So there's a bunch of those different things too, that it's not just athletics at that point, because you're an administrator and you're a big part of and that's a good thing, right? Like they're including when you're a coach, you just do what your athletic director tells you you're going to do.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of there is some different roles in there that people really don't understand in that. And it's kind of like you're a fireman, you're putting out fires. You're constantly putting out fires. Yeah.
I can see that. Now obviously it's rewarding in its own way as an AD, being an AD. Have you always been an AD at the college level, or were you high school?
I graduated college in 1998, and I have worked on a college campus ever since.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's really good. And I don't even know the right to become a college coach, or an administrator, whether you're an AD or an advisor of some sort on the campus. There has to be some sort of obviously the what's the word I'm looking for? When you're, come on. Hello. AD is amazing. It's amazing. The interview process, like the job interview process, has to be crazy, because to be an AD, you have to have certain, you have to have a master's degree. Some are probably doctors, and have their doctorate. And so you have all these checklists that you have to meet just to be eligible to be an administrator. What is like the interview process?
It's ridiculous. One, I'm not a suit and tie guy, right? So that in itself is ridiculous. I'm trying to make sure like my tie is close enough that they can't see that my fat neck shirt won't tie the button and stuff. But so I'm doing that all day, and you're meeting with, I'm trying to think. So when I interviewed here, right, it was meeting with vice presidents for 45 minutes, and it's meeting with coaches for 45 minutes, and it's meeting with the campus. There's a campus session where anybody can come and ask you questions and do that. And then you're meeting with the president. You're meeting with a group of student athletes, and these are all 45 minutes. Like I had lunch with student athletes, and you're just sitting there trying to be like, okay, don't spill anything on your shirt. Try to make sure they think you're a normal guy, not some weirdo. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right? You want them you have to get them to trust you, and basically you can't worry about, you're not going to say the right thing, because there's so many people in on that process.
Yeah.
That some people are going to like you, some aren't.
Oh,
so
sure.
It's just about trying to be honest to who you are and why you do this job, and how you can help the institution. How can you help the athletes? How can you help the coaches be the best that they can be?
Now, you, as an AD, as an administrator in the, especially for the athletic field, do you have to set budgets? Do you go and meet with the president and all the members of the board for the school, and they say, this is how much we can allocate for all of athletics, A to Z, this is what you get. And then you have to kind of break it down by sport. Hey, coach, what do you absolutely have to have this year?
Yeah. So
what are your wants? What are your needs, kind of thing? And you try to pick a couple that you can. I mean, is that part of your job too?
Yep. Yeah. Last year was really the first year, because when I first got here, it was kind of set already. So last year I got the opportunity. We sat down with the CFO and then my boss and kind of went over like, okay, this is what's needed. Like baseball, needing to know that we're going to play 30 home games. For each game, it's $450 for those umpires, those 3 umpires that work the game. So 30 games, $450 per game. We're looking at, not a mathematician, but around $14,000 for umpires. And we got to make sure that we have, those type of things. And this last year was a year we saw some improvements a little bit on some of that. And so we didn't have to fundraise, but each team has to fundraise too. And that's you try to say, okay, we need to cover as much of the needs that we can, and those want items, those might be some fundraising. Hopefully there's a little left over that we can get some of those wants
Right.
of some fundraised items, and that's one area that I think we got a little bit better on. The inflation doesn't hit just the supermarket or anything like that. I mean, we're getting hit on equipment, right? Our baseballs, our basketballs, our footballs, our helmets, our pads, all those things are going up. And we got to make sure that we are trying to keep pace with that a little, as much as we can, without being ridiculous, right? Because we got a whole lot of budget to cover.
Now, okay, so with that said, talk a little bit budget wise in the NAIA. The budget's going to be a lot smaller than it would be even at the Division II level.
Yeah.
Or the Division I level. Obviously, they have gazillions of dollars, it seems like, to do whatever they need to do. How does Avila pay for coaches and equipment and things like that? I mean, where does
tuition money?
Now, do you know if that's like D2 Division I?
Most places, yeah. And I think at the Division I and the D2 levels, a lot of times though, their scholarships will be fundraised, and they'll work on, having a pot of money that's fundraised and done with giving from some of that. But, with most of ours, our stuff comes from the tuition dollars.
Okay. Coaches, do they come, like, if I'm, I'm a football coach at Avila. Now I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but alumni will pay coaches.
Some places, right? They'll do endowed coaching positions. Mm-hmm. So they'll give $1 million, and over time, over whatever, they'll draw off the interest of that endowment and will help cover it, and it'll be named, right? So yes, the Tate Stevens Director of Athletics position at Avila University. And so I'm looking forward to that check, Tate. That's going to be awesome.
It's in the mail.
Yeah. But they do, some do happen that way. And I think certain places, because I'm a huge Notre Dame fan, we've talked about that, but Pat Eilers played defensive back at Notre Dame in 1988, and the secondary coaches, the position coach is endowed by him and his family, and those type of things. So it's pretty cool when they get back, right? And that's great. We always want our alumni to give back, because that means they had a great experience.
Right. Yeah. Now, obviously you have to be involved with the alumni, and keeping them kind of abreast of what's going on in the school and the sports and all that, the growth. Yeah. Talk about growth. And because that's a big thing right now. Obviously, Pooch, he's got a kid that he's helping out, that he's getting scholarship offers from all around the country, all big D1 class power conference offers, and it's like it's crazy how those the money that's being, how like scholarships and stuff. I mean, just you guys don't have the budget for especially baseball. And I know baseball, even in the Division I, in the big ball, the big class of college, they still don't have a lot of money for baseball. For scholarships, they only get, let's say they get 20 scholarships.
They get 11.7.
11.7.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you got to spread that out over all those kids, and but obviously, and we all know football is the moneymaker for the schools, because they bring the most people in to watch the games and all that. But it's kind of crazy that, just the amount of money it takes to basically be a school and to pay those kids tuition.
Yep.
And obviously, even at the D2 level, you see some kids getting 20% scholarships, and I'm like, yeah, a little money is better than no money, but at the end of the day, this kid's still forking out 80% of his tuition.
Yep. Yeah.
Through whatever loans, student loans, and all the big debt and all that you got to go through.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. So with the alumni now, can they help with that, or is that something that
they can? No, they can. And that's one area we're trying to work on. We have an alumni committee that athletics that will meet. They meet monthly, and up until coaching baseball this spring, I was in every one of those meetings, and I've had a harder time getting to them this spring because they meet at 5:00. But though it's important to keep the alumni, especially at a school like Avila, we need to keep our alumni engaged. And a lot of times they want to know what's going on, right? So when I started going to those meetings, I would just share with them, hey, this is what's going on with our teams. This is what's going on with this program. Just keep them involved. We just got done with about 3 weeks ago. It was actually April 1st. We had our alumni. We started as our third annual trivia night for alumni, right? We had 25 tables of 8. It's a great event. It's fun. It was 80s night trivia this year. And we just try to find ways to get them plugged in and just engaged to keep them there. Sometimes, they're not ready to. Our younger alums, they can't really say, I'm going to write this $10,000 check, but they can say, hey, I'm going to pay $200 for a table and bring 7 of my friends. And we're going to have, we have beer and wine and all that stuff there that they can come have a good time.
Right.
2.5 hours, just ways to plug them in, trying to get them to come back to games, have alumni events at games, and just try to find ways that they can come back and be a part, because we talk about the money giving, but I think the biggest thing our alumni can bring, and I know, you saw it, you've seen it, but it's the networking. And
yeah, absolutely.
We talk about the NIL. Brady Quinn, former Notre Dame quarterback, just started something called Fund, and it's Friends of the University of Notre Dame. And it's a way for alumni and former players to give money. And I read up a little bit on it, but not exactly sure, but to help the NIL with the football and basketball teams. And basically they're paying them to start these foundations and charitable stuff. So it's a pretty cool event because they're learning, right, the whole charitable stuff. And that's how it works. But the more we can get our alums in with networking, especially here in Kansas City, where here at Avila, we have a ton of alumni that are in the medical field, nursing, rad tech, a bunch of teachers, things like that if we can plug them in with them, it's going to help these students be successful when they leave here. Kind of gives them a mentor.
Absolutely. That's one thing that it is those connections. It's those little interwoven, hey, I went to Avila. You go to Avila. When you're out, call me. I can help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those kind of relationships, that's what those kids need, but it's also what the school needs too, as you said. And that helps the school grow. Sure, everybody wants $100 million facility update, right? Everybody needs that,
Yes.
And so that's how that all goes down, with the alumni being involved, with whatever business. Like I know Avila is a big nursing school. They have a lot of nurses and stuff that come out of there and are successful in their fields and stuff. And but it's kind of crazy, and people don't understand that it is a big business. Especially you're running all the sports, you're running all the money through the sports for trying to fill those needs. And it's hard sometimes. I'm sure in your position, you're like, coach, you have $1,200, you have $1,200 worth of tape you need. I don't know. We're going to get that this year. We might. Absolutely.
Yeah, there it is right there for wrestling. Yes.
Yeah. And I know
tape and all that stuff. Yeah.
It's kind of funny because I was on the booster club at Ray Peck here when Hayden was in school, and just, the coaches would send down, hey, could you guys help us? Baseballs. We need, 10 dozen baseballs for the season. We need, 7 new footballs. We need, 10 new basketballs, whatever it was. Golf, they want new golf bags. Can you guys help? Can we put any money towards new golf bags for the kids? And we would literally sit there and say, okay, we have X amount of dollars to work with. The football program gets X amount of dollars. The baseball program gets X amount of dollars from the school, funded by the school. So if we throw football $2,500 for footballs, we need to throw baseball $2,500. We need to throw basketball $2,500. We need to, so then it kind of became, okay, how do we cut that down? How can we, or last year we helped football. So we're not helping football nearly as much this year. We're going to help swimming because they need all new warm-ups and stuff and, things like that. So we would do the same thing, with the booster club money. And so that was hard enough. And that's just at a small level, you know what I mean? At the high school level, when they're just like, hey, could you throw us a bone here a little bit? These aren't college athletes who are really putting it on the line every day in, day out, grinding, working out, going to class, playing games, going to class, working out. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a repeating process for them. Every day's the same for them. And you got to put a great product on the field. And, as the football players always say, you look good, play good, you look good, play good. Man. And so you want that for your kids. You want that for the guys or for the basketball team or whoever. You want them to look good when they go out. Man, check us out. We look like, this is my golf game, Shawn. I look like I know what I'm doing. And that's
you got the white belt. You got the white belt, don't you?
No. I'm untucked. I can't tuck it in. I'm too fat to tuck it in. So I'm all untucked. But my clubs, I got great clubs. I got, when I roll up, people are like, oh, this guy, he's going to shoot whiskey. That's what I'm going to shoot.
Well, and I think, you say that, and it's exactly right. Like for us, we're lucky to have a partnership with Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little, right? We're not getting the Kansas dollars from Adidas and stuff, but the product we get, we have to make it look good because one, recruits want to see that. And two, when we're out and we're playing in Wichita or we're playing up in Leavenworth, if there's a high school kid there, like we want to look good that they say like, man, because that's what it is, right?
100%. That is, I will say I knew this, they did this with like when we were on the recruiting trips with Hayden and stuff, they'd put them in the jerseys and show them all the uniform combos and all this stuff. And, they had a table and all this stuff. You get some sliders, you get new cleats all the time. You get gloves, you get whatever you want. This is a table, right? And it's like swag table. You get traveling suits and different things. When we went to Michigan a few weeks ago, and that is mind-boggling what goes on there. It is, and I know that's that way in every D1 Power 5 conference. You know what I mean? It's, oh my God. Yeah. I don't understand. I'm watching these high school kids come in fully decked out in Michigan football helmets, shoulder pad, everything, doing these cool photo shoots and all this stuff. And I'm like, and they literally said this is a big part of recruiting. If they think they look good in Michigan stuff and they look better in Michigan stuff than they did in Michigan State stuff, we got a chance to get that kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? And that's a big thing. So yeah, when you show up, when you guys roll up and you're playing a game and you're like, it looks clean and all, kids are like, That looks good. I like those uniforms. Where's that? Where's Avila? Even if it just sparks their interest in saying, "Hey, where's that school?" You know, I'll check it.
And it's stupid. And it's stupid. We can stop in Emporia at Brahms because that's the closest Brahms to us, and like Brahms a lot.
Yeah,
we stop in Brahms and we're in our gear, right? Our travel gear alone. And some kids in the high school kids are in there and stuff. And I guarantee you they're on this thing saying, "Where's Avila at?" And they're pulling it up and they're looking at it. And it's it's a huge deal, man. It's image is what you portray, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't get off the bus looking in like ragtag shorts and t-shirts. And no, we have to look the part as well, because it's a big part of what we're doing. And there's, it's like team. Everyone looks the same, right? The team, Michigan football.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's on the backside. It's also, we want people to think that we look good and sharp and this is what we do. So,
and again, perception.
Yes.
Perception, not only to the kids, but let's talk about people who, when Avila baseball pulls up at Brahms and I'm just in there with my family and everybody gets off the bus, everybody looks nice. They're all, everybody's dressed like they should be, like a team. Here we go. We're coming in and they're respectful. They're together. You know what I mean? That speaks for the university.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you are a billboard. When you got that Avila logo or whatever, you are a billboard for your school.
So we were just in Ottawa, Kansas, and we were eating at Freddy's afterwards. And our guys were in there in single file line. An older couple came in and our guy said, "Hey, let them go first." So they do. Our guys order, they sit down. When we leave, they clean everything up. That couple comes up to us and said, one, just respectful and polite. And two, I used to give money to Avila because we had a friend whose daughter played softball there. They said, we didn't give a bunch of money and stuff, but this just kind of reiterates, like, it made us feel good that we did that. So I tried to ask them if they'd give more money, but.
So are you still doing the money thing?
Yeah,
where are we at on that? Where are we at on that?
But that's you get a chance to make an impression on people, and in those, especially in those towns where it's a blue collar, hardworking people, like they appreciate respect out of the youth and things like that. Makes a difference.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, well, so let's move forward a little bit. We've now you got to Avila in 18. No, when did you get to Avila?
19. So June of 19.
Okay, so now obviously Daryl was there. That whole when you got there, you meet the baseball coach, obviously. Now, did you know Daryl before? Did you know of Daryl, who he was?
Yeah. Yep, because I was on the executive coaches committee in NAI when I coached, so I knew who Daryl was, and I had known the successes he had here and things like that. So I'd like to think, I don't know, AJ probably knows more. You guys might know more, but I think Daryl and I hit it off pretty well from the beginning, just having a baseball guy in that role. And, just, and our personalities, we were alike in a lot of ways. We like to do a lot of the same things. And I think why I coached is the same reason why Daryl coached. And it's been evident, right? The last 6 months getting to meet all these guys that played for him, that loved him, and they loved him because he cared about them as a person, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I knew who he was, and I just knew from the minute, like, the stories, I just laugh when I think about it. And, there's things, that hijinks that happened in this office. This is right next to mine. So we had some fun.
That's, when there's when Hayden was in high school. The catcher Nick. What's Nick's last name? He caught at Avila for a few years. What is his name? What's Nick's last name? Anyway, good kid, man, really good guy. And Hayden was a catcher. So Daryl calls like, "Hey, Nick will work with Hayden, and he kind of gave us Nick's pedigree. He's like, this kid was a big time player, got hurt his shoulder, kind of lost everything. We kind of snuck in and got him, kind of under the radar kind of thing. And he's a great catcher, just hits the crap out of the ball. I mean, he's a good player, really good player. So anyway, so I'm like, yeah, that'll be great, so we could take Hayden in there. And I mean, it was awesome. Nick he did a great job with Hayden. I mean, from the fundamental, everything, stance, just how to stand, how to sit, how to, hold your glove, where, all the timing and everything, all this stuff that and it was all because Daryl was like, hey, I trust this kid to help your kid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it was like, that's evident. And like I said, in Daryl, just being a coach, because he was a coach, like,
yeah.
And like I said to the kids, the guys, when I came and talked to them, which I'm sure some of them are like, who's this dude and why is he talking to us? Because like I was like, I don't really know what to say, but I mean, because I'm a musician and you guys are baseball players, so here we go. But the one thing I was mad because I forgot to tell them was about the relationships and how important they are to be. It's going to be the most important relationships you have in your life. Right. You guys slugged it out day in, day out for 4 or 5 years, however long you're there. And you lived the same life, went through the same things, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, everything. And these are the guys you're going to stay in contact with forever. Not all of them, but you'll have your core guys that you'll be in each other's weddings. You'll be the first one they say, hey man, I'm having a baby, or, whatever the good and, even the bad stuff. Hey, this happened, whatever. Those are the relationships those kids will never, they're priceless relationships. They're the ones that mean the most, but anyway, Daryl was, I told those guys, I said, Daryl was coaching people before he was a coach, back in high school, he was just, basically teaching us the things we should do. And didn't even know it. He didn't even know, I'm sure he didn't think he was doing anything like that. He was just being himself. And, and like I said, it took him passing to really see, looking back, it was like, golly, man, this dude influenced my life in so many ways, never even knew.
But you know why this is why he was so successful as a coach, because he was always present.
All the time.
Even when he didn't think he was present.
Yeah. All the time. He made the time. He put the effort into making the time. And like I said, AJ will test AJ, Daryl went to every gig that he could go to, whether it was a acoustic show or a full band show or whatever. I mean, and regardless of what he had going on in his own life, he made the time for other people. And like I said, my wife and I, we struggle to make time for each other sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm like, and it's weird when people, like that get it done. And yet we struggle trying to find that kind of, I don't even know, you find the time to do it. So yeah, man. Anything. Okay. So this year, you're coaching and ADing again, kind of step back into that role. It's got to be a little fun.
It is. No, it is
fun, but it's got to be a little bittersweet in the same breath. Got to be a little bittersweet too. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to get, too emotional or what, but, I know that he was looking forward to coaching this team, right? He had some guys that had transferred in and he was excited for some of that. And, being in the dugout is just trying to know that those seniors that have played here for 4 years now, like they had a real calming and present, like Daryl always had a real calming presence, right? Daryl was, if he raised his voice, you knew like, oh man. And then to me, who gets a little animated a little more often. And it's like, too, like, right. Just try to be more, there's only one Daryl Cronk. There was, but just trying to remember, like trying to be like that. And it's been very bittersweet. And, I know that the 2.5 years I was here with him, I really enjoyed it. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes I'd ask him questions that I don't know. Some people, as someone who's a baseball guy, I would always ask, like, okay, what was your thought here? What made you do that? Or, recruiting going. And I did it, right? I did it for a while and I kind of understand it. And, he would always share though. He didn't care. And when getting to coach with him this past summer for his prospects organization was a blast because, again, he did it the right way. He had that summer program and he didn't have 18 to 20 guys per team. He had 12 guys per roster that he wanted to make sure that we're taught the proper way to play the game of baseball.
Yeah.
And so, there's days I find myself talking to him still and just thinking of a memory and everything that, you guys know, I'm like, I see, George Strait's coming to Arrowhead. And first thing I want to do is I want to get on the phone. Like,
yeah,
get the tickets. Let's go. Those type of things, right? Like I loved going to watch AJ play and, getting to see you play down at Power and Light in the fall in September. I mean, that both you guys there but that's what it was. That's what I miss too. Right. Like not just the working with him every day, but his friendship.
Oh, absolutely. Great guy. He was an awesome person. And like I said, even back in the day, we were raising hell and stuff like that. And he's just like, all right, whatever, do what you do. You guys go do you. And I'm gonna hang out here. I'm good. But
he liked to just sit back and laugh at us.
Absolutely.
That was it. That was him.
Yes.
He'd be out there. And I remember one time it was at Brubaker's, right? You're playing and he had his staff there with him. And I was with those guys and he was just sitting back in the corner like a proud papa, like, oh, you guys are idiots. I can't wait till tomorrow just to recap what you guys did. I mean, just idiots. But that was him. He'd just sit back and laugh and be like, okay, this is going to be a fun one tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, dude. Well, man, I appreciate it. I don't know. I think it was good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add? Anything you want to say? Anything? And no, you're good.
I think I'm good.
Can we bring up one thing? Actually, I got two things, but
all right, go ahead.
The fact that Tate has not watched The Young Rock. I want you to on demand them all, and I want to hear a recap on that.
I'll have to watch it. I wanted to, and for whatever reason, I started, and we had actually talked about it when we did the wrestling show.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I gotta watch it because it'd be cool. But because of all the old school guys that are on there that kind of shaped his life, because of his dad and his mom and his grandpa. So I just never did. I never did. Okay, so wrestling. All right, since we're on the wrestling thing. All right. Yeah. So who was your wrestlers, man, back in the day when you were a little kid?
It was first of all, waking up. You guys remember Captain Lou Albano had the cartoon. Yeah. I watched that. Or Captain Al. Wait, Captain Lou, right?
Captain Lou Albano, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was must see TV. That and the Flintstones on Saturday mornings. But the Ultimate Warrior, man. I was the Ultimate Warrior guy. That was the dude. That was
so back how old are you, Shawn?
46.
Okay, yeah, so we're the same age. Yep. Back in the day, now I don't know in Indiana, I don't where was World Class. No, what was it up there? Probably NWA was probably up there, right? You guys had NWA on TV up there on the week.
Well, we had it was every Saturday night. We had WWF back before they changed to WWE.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm talking about early days, like when you were a little kid. Like, did you watch wrestling then, or were you kind of later? And
It was probably in the 80s. I remember the first WrestleMania and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was a WWF guy. I don't think I watched too much of the AWA or whatever it was, because I guess it used to be regional, but I don't remember that part of it.
I was trying to think, because I know we had the NWA here, we had AWA here too on TV, and then you'd get World Class Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
And then you'd get what was the other one? South Florida.
Oh, probably Florida Championship Wrestling.
Championship, and then I thought there was maybe one more. I thought we'd get Jarrett's thing too over there in North Carolina every once in a while, like because it was part of another thing, wasn't it?
Oh, Mid-Atlantic, probably.
Mid-Atlantic, yeah, Mid-Atlantic. So we were watching all. I mean, we growing up, and of course, my cousin was a professional wrestler, so I got to meet all those guys, and we got every time they'd come to Kansas City, we'd go meet, hang out with them and get to go to the show and whatnot. It was a lot of fun, and like Bulldog Bob Brown and Harley Race and all those guys, just growing up watching those guys on TV, and then finally getting to meet them in person and realizing Bob Brown was like 5'7". He's a little bitty guy, he's like, he looks so big on, they look like big monsters on TV. When you meet him, you're like, no, you're not that big. You're just a normal guy.
So like, I'm sure you guys did the same, but like, then you would sit there and you would actually try to go through the wrestling moves, right?
Look, dude.
So
I don't know how many figure fours and camel clutches, and we would body slam each other for real, and we would suplex each other for real outside in the yard. Yard.
We had a guy in our neighborhood who was the skinniest guy. He was the skinniest dude. So he was he fell in love with Mr. Fuji, and he would walk around and throw salt in your eyes. Joe Messenger. I love it.
That's awesome.
I'll never forget him running to my house and be like, "Oh, I just threw salt in his eyes. I got it right."
Oh,
good Lord.
Yeah, that was great.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that and then the Killer Bees, man. That was my tag team group.
Oh, right B. Brian Blair. Yeah. The Road Warriors were the Road Warriors were it for me, man. You'd hear Iron Man, and you knew somebody was about to take a beat.
So who were the Road Warriors? That was it Laurinaitis?
Yep, Laurinaitis, and what was the other guys? Oh my gosh.
I can't remember, but his son's now at Notre Dame as a GA for football. James.
Yeah. Now he
was with the Rams, wasn't he?
Did he play with the Rams? Yeah, that's right. Played with the Rams, and he. I do. The Road Warriors, to me, Hawk and Animal, man. There was nothing. Yeah. And then the Steiners. Then when the Steiners started with their thing, they were awesome too. Oh man, wrestling, it was so much. That was like a whole lifetime ago. But
it really was, man. I mean, that was like, I just remember every Saturday night to come on, and then one time, like once every quarter, you'd get like the Friday night main events on NBC, and you were just like, you were jazzed for it. Like Knight Rider wasn't on, but it didn't matter. Like Friday Night Lights or Friday Night main event was on.
Knight Rider, that's good.
And then Tate, are you in Nebraska next weekend?
No, that show got moved to the fall, so. Yeah, we were
40 minutes. We were playing up there next weekend, 40 minutes away.
Oh man,
that'd have been awesome. That'd have been awesome. You got to take the show.
Yes,
bring the whole baseball.
Would have played.
Yeah, maybe not, but no, they got moved to the fall sometime, so they're trying to work out a date again up there in the fall with Ricochet. It was us and Ricochet, so they're trying to get another date with them up there.
I'm planning in September. There's it was Aaron Tippin, Sammy Kershaw, and Colin Ray are down in Garnett.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
So I sent it to the wife. I said, "This is our next date night."
Mm-hmm. There you go.
September.
Yeah, well,
Make sure you got it on the calendar.
I got it down.
You got it on the calendar, honey.
Uh,
I tell you what, we're going to McDonald's and we're going to the show.
we're going to Garnett. You got to go to McDonald's. Yeah.
Yeah. But well, that's cool. There's we have some shows around town, so you'll have to come see us. We got one in Grandview in June at the
Something
Grandview
like that,
Amphitheater in June. It'll be a Friday night show. I think the 24th of June, Friday night, and then we have the Kearney Amphitheater on July 3rd. We're up there on July 3rd. Is there any other? Oh, we're playing in Shawnee at Old Shawnee Days.
Oh yeah,
in June, I think, and
June
then
3rd or 4th or something like that.
Yeah, June 4th, I think we're playing the Old Shawnee Days, and I think we're playing the Johnson County Fair down in Gardner. We're playing Johnson County Fair sometime. I don't know when that is. It's sometime.
I can ride my bike there. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. So we'll have plenty of opportunity to see me and AJ play. So
yeah,
perfect.
But all right, man. Well, I appreciate the time. You get home.
Thank you, guys.
The wife and kids, and like I said, it was awesome having you. And
appreciate you guys.
We'll talk soon, and let us know how the baseball team finishes out.
Will do.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right. That was Shawn Summe, Avila AD and interim coach.
Yeah, man.
Interim head coach. But what a good dude.
Yeah.
You know? All right.
Yeah, man.
Well, that was it. It was a good one. Hope everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Our buddy Shawn Summe. So
got me thinking about Daryl this whole time.
I know.
Episode 8. If you guys haven't downloaded it, go back and listen. That's when we had Daryl on the podcast, and he kind of gave his whole start to finish story. And I'll go back and I'll re-download it about once a month or so. Just to hear his voice, man.
I haven't deleted the text messages. The last text messages, I haven't deleted those yet, and haven't deleted his number or anything like that yet. I don't know that I could, but what a great dude, and made a difference in so many people's lives, and he touched so many different lives, man. Absolutely good person. That is a true good person right there. So anyway, all right. Well, appreciate y'all listening, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. You do all the stuff, social media. Make sure you share this with everybody, even if they don't like podcasts. Tell them to share it anyway.
Tell them to share it, download it,
and share.
Give it a good review.
And a good review, 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts.
They can frown while they do it.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Yeah. And leave a review, leave a remark, and let us know what you like, what you don't like. And we're not going to change anything, but still let us know. All right. That's it. We'll see you next time.
Ain't this a sweet life?
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Want to ask a question for a future episode? Well, hit us up on Facebook or Twitter with #SweetLifePodcast. And be sure to give us a 5-star rating and hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay up to date on the latest news and information for the Sweet Life Podcast. And we'll see you next time.